Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Saravanan, postgraduate student in the Department of Orthopedics in Stanley Medical College. Today, I'm going to present about arthroscopic portals of the knee joint. This is an outline of my presentation. We shall see about the portal placements, and then we'll see about standard portals and optional portals. So, for proper portal placement, there are three key steps in arthroscopy. They are adequate lighting and adequate distension of the joint and localization of the entry point. Adequate light, it is essential for clear visualization all the structures. For maintaining adequate light, we have to properly maintain the fiber optic cables and then regularly cleanse the arthroscope. Distance of joint, it is essential for obliterating the view of the fat pad synovium and the soft tissues. And localization of the entry point, it is very important one for maneuvering within all the parts of the joint. There are four standard portals. They are anterolateral, anteromedial, posteromedial, and superolateral. Let us see about individual ones. Anterolateral portal. It is a standard portal. It is used with a 4 mm diameter and 30-degree oblique 4-lens arthroscope. Through this portal, almost all the structures of the knee joint can be visualized. There are three structures which cannot be visualized using this portal. They are posterior cruciate ligament, anterior portion of the lateral meniscus, and periphery of the posterior horn of the medial meniscus. For a proper entry point, we have to, the location is, it is located 1 centimeter above the lateral joint line and 1 centimeter lateral to the patellar tendon and 1 centimeter below the patella. The trocar and sleeve are inserted at 70 degrees of the knee flexion. If the portal is placed too near to the joint line, there are two important complications of that. Anterior horn of the lateral meniscus can be lacerated and there will be difficulty in maneuvering of the scope. If the portal is placed too superior to the joint line, it prevents the viewing of the posterior horn of the medial meniscus and posterior structures. If it is immediately adjacent to the edge of the patellar tendon, it can penetrate the fat pad and there will be difficulty in viewing and maneuvering the joint. Let us see about anteromedial portal. Anteromedial portal is also a standard portal. It is most commonly used for additional viewing of the lateral compartment and for insertion of probe or palpation of medial and lateral compartment structures. The entry point is located 1 centimeter above the medial joint line, 1 centimeter inferior to the tip of the patella, and 1 centimeter medial to the edge of the patellar tendon. The proper placement of the entry point in this portal can be confirmed by using a percutaneous spinal needle visualized from anterolateral portal. With the use of 11 blade and cutting edges pointed away from the meniscus is visualized while making this portal. Let's see about posteromedial portal. There is an important spot called soft spot in the posteromedial portal. It is formed by medial edge of the femoral condyle and the posteromedial edge of the tibia. It is the site of this portal. Before distension of the joint, the small triangle can be easily palpated with the knee flexed to 90 degrees. Posteromedial compartment as usually is small, but any arthroscope can be inserted with proper care. In this portal, 30-degree angled arthroscope offers optimal viewing of all the structures. There are three guidelines which are usually aid in establishment of these portals. The knee must be maximally distended with irrigating solution so that the posteromedial compartment balloons out like a bubble when the knee is flexed to 90 degree. And the knee must be flexed as close to the 90 degree as much as possible. Bony landmark should be drawn before the joint is distended. The entry point of this portal is 1 centimeter above the posteromedial joint line and 1 centimeter posterior to the posteromedial margin of the femoral condyle. This posteromedial portal is used for repair and removal of the displaced posterior horn of meniscal tear and for removal of posterior loose bodies, synovectomy, and posterior cruciate ligament reconstruction. Superolateral portal. It is used diagnostically for viewing the dynamics of the patellofemoral articulations. The portal is located just lateral to the quadriceps tendon and 2.5 centimeters superior to the superolateral corner of the patella. With arthroscope in this portal, the joint can be viewed with either a 30-degree or 70-degree arthroscope, allowing for the evaluation of patellar tracking and patellar And then let's see about optional portals. There are four types of optional portals. They are posterolateral, proximal midpatellar and medial and lateral, accessory for medial and lateral, central transpatellar tendon portal, posterolateral portals. For these posterolateral portals, the knee should be flexed at 90 degree and the joint must be maximally distended. The entry point of this portal is located 2 cm posterolateral joint line at the posterior edge of the iliotibial band and anterior edge of the biceps femoris tendon. A 6 cm skin incision is made and the distended posterior capsule is visualized and then it is penetrated using the arthroscope sheet and a sharp trocar. Posterior edge of the femoral condyle is palpated with the trocar, slipping of posterior condyle parallel to it and directed slightly inferiorly, the sheath enters the posterolateral compartment. It is also directed slightly inferiorly, the sheath enters the posterolateral compartment. Proper care must be taken not to damage the posterior femoral condyle and neurovascular structures. It is mainly used in the repair of the lateral meniscal tear. Then let's see about proximal midpatellar portals. They are either medial and lateral portals. It improves the viewing of the anterior compartment structures, lateral meniscocapsular structures, and popliteus tunnel. It minimizes the accessory instrument crowding. It is also used for the viewing of posterior horns of the meniscus and tibial attachment of the posterior cruciate ligament. The portal is located at the medial and lateral edges of the mid-patella at the broadest portion of the patella. A 30-degree oblique arthroscopy is usually used for this portal. Accessory for medial and lateral portals. The portal is located 2.5 cm medial or lateral to the standard anteromedial and anterolateral portals. It is medially near the anterior edge of the medial collateral ligament, lateral to the lateral collateral ligament and popliteus tendon. Final needle is passed to superior surface of the meniscus for desired location. The needle cannot be passed to desired location. The point of entry is adjusted carefully before the incision is made. And finally, you'll see about Gilkis portal, that is central transpatellar tendon portal. The entry point of this portal is located 1 cm inferior to the lower pole of the patella, and it is the joint is entered through the patellar tendon. It is most helpful during the anterior cruciate ligament construction after the graft has been completed, avoiding tendon damage. It is necessary for the posterior compartment evolution and anterior compartment triangulation. For this, the knee is flexed to 90 degrees to keep the patellar tendon under tension. After flexing the knee and keeping the patellar tendon to flexion, a 6 cm vertical incision is made, the 11 blade through the skin, subcutaneous tissue, and the patellar tendon, approximately 1 cm from the inferior pole of the patella. We routinely don't use this portal because of patellar tendon damage might occur during this maneuver. All these portals, they are used in diagnostic arthroscopy, meniscal repair, and used for removal of the loose bodies, cruciate ligament reconstructions, synovial biopsy, chondral defect repair, osteochondritis dissecans treatment, and finally debridement for the osteoarthritis. Complications of the arthroscopic portals, these are we can cause iatrogenic articular damage during the procedure, and recent evidences suggest that increased occurrence of pyogenic arthritis, venous thromboembolism, hemarthrosis, and neurovascular injury. During the posteromedial portal incision, saphenous nerve might get injured, and during the posterolateral portal incision, common peroneal nerve might get injured. Thank you, everyone.